to Saxthorpe Farms, and starting off, although it's December, I do have a few contracts to tackle, kind of left over from me grabbing them much earlier in the year and then not doing them. So we've got this little FERT contract and then the frankly ridiculously huge ploughing contract on the biggest field on the map, so field 21 I think it is. We're going to be breaking out all three of our normal size tractors, so I guess maybe larger, medium. I think they're all medium sized tractors. All of the Deutz modern tractors, if they're not all of the Deutz, you'll see when we get there. Oh yeah, it's what day is it today? It's Friday, I think. Massively losing track of days, so almost wow, it's almost the first week off done. That's kind of scary. And yeah, I find I really lose track of the days so much when I'm off like this. Yeah, I don't know about you guys. If most of you have finished work now for Christmas, you know, I don't know how it works in the other countries actually. In the UK, it's quite random. A lot of people will work all the way up to we call them bank holidays, but the public holidays, the 2 days that almost everyone, not say everyone, most people get off. And you know, a lot of people will work all of the time around that. I know some people where I used to work used to do that until we had an enforced 1 week shutdown between Christmas and New Year. And I don't know what it's like in other countries as to whether, you know, people either get that time off at standard or save holiday up or whatever, you know. No real experience of that. So. Yeah, the other thing that we have to do today, or in this video, is sell a load of stuff. We've got a lot of maize silage. I'm not going to keep all of the maize silage because we have a ridiculous amount for the number of cows that we have. We've got some dried grains. I think that's it. But that actually is a reasonable amount of income, as you will see. So just getting BCA set up, or attempting to, really badly. There we go. We might want to do the working width as well. Maybe. It's quite funny sometimes watching back in hindsight. Yeah, I'm sure everyone has similar things where they do this when they're playing and then they hit buttons and realise that, oh, it's all set up wrong. Yeah, so yeah, enjoying the break. Spent a couple of days in Wales with my dad. Maybe that's why the week's flown by so quickly. We were boat shopping or looking at his old boat, so that was fun. It's nice to spend a couple of days with him. I did get a bit tiring. It's probably the most time I've spent with my dad with just the two of us in a very long time. And yeah, it did get a little bit tiring, but it was nice. It was good to spend time with him. And yeah, crawling all over his old boat, which he is now, I think, going to see if he can agree a price with the current owner on. So that would be cool. It would be really nice if he could get it back. So, it'll be a nice it's kind of sad, but probably his last big boat restoration project. You know, he's coming up to his 80s, although he's got a friend who's well into his 80s who's currently building a new boat, so who knows. You know, I'm not sure my mum would be too pleased with that. So almost done with this contract. I think this is probably very quickly going to be finished. And yeah, then we'll head over to the store, because currently we own 2 of the Kavernland 3.5 metre ploughs, and I want to get a third, which will essentially give us 10.5 metres of ploughing width, which is pretty huge, really. Because maybe you don't know, maybe you don't remember, at least one of our fields needs ploughing as well, so that's good, because well, yeah, means it'll be quicker when we get around to doing that. It's probably going to be a February job, I think. Yeah, and making sure the store deliveries point is set to the shop. I'm really bad at not doing that. Sometimes, you'll say it for something random and then forget. So yeah, we've got 2 of the eco mats with quite a lot of hours on them actually for ploughing, but hey, I do enjoy me some ploughing, and we've done quite a lot of ploughing contracts, I think, as well. But just checking the stores, I'm ignoring the other 8 series that is on sale. We don't need another upgrade. So we're going to pick up another of the eco mats, £23,000. We're going to get 60 back, so pretty good return. And actually, talking about the 8 series, so I said in the video where I brought that tractor, this tractor, in fact, about how it was probably going to save me money on repairs. Now, that was just kind of a guess, but I did have a really good question from Mark Haythornthwaite, such an easy name to say, about whether, if you had a tractor that had some amount of hours on it, like I was selling a tractor that had 60 hours and replacing it with something with 11, are you going to recoup the savings in repair cost versus the extra outlay? And I'm kind of curious about that, so I might have a look at it at some point. Right now, we are setting up a 3 implement courseplay course. And what I'm going to do to start off with is run 2 of the tractors on courseplay, and I'm going to do some of it because I do enjoy ploughing. And this is a really good way of kind of splitting that load. And it also means that at the point that I want to do some other things, because this is going to take quite a long time in game, and playing on ×5, it's going to be a couple of day job probably, and it's entirely possible that I'll need to go feed the cows and sell some stuff. So while I'm doing that, I will let courseplay finish it off. But to start off with, so we've got this one set to left 1, first waypoint, and I hit the button to copy the course. We'll jump in the 8250, and you can see the green clipboard is lit up, so we'll click it and that copies it in, and we'll put this one in the center on first waypoint. Then it's definitely worth driving so that you are well placed for picking up that first waypoint. It speeds things up so much. You might notice in this the FPS, you may not actually by the time it's been processed. I was having some FPS issues playing on here and playing on some other stuff, and I cleaned my laptop out yesterday. Boy, was there a lot of dog fur in there, and it has made a huge difference. I think I gained about 20 FPS, and I think that's just that laptops run hot. It's a feature of laptops. But it was running hot, and then obviously having to limit the performance because it couldn't cool it enough. And so yeah, it's made a big difference. And it's something that I do semi-regularly with the laptop, so I get back off, and basically all of the... That's the reason I was tabbing around, was to get the angle that the courseplay course is running on. Pretty much most of the laptop stays clear because the airways are fairly well sealed, certainly in the one that I have, so it's basically pulling the fluff and fur out of the ducting for the cooling fans, and then blasting it all with compressed air and using a little brush to get off the slightly stickier stuff and that kind of thing. And I think it took me about 20 minutes. Wasn't that long, and much happier laptop, which is good. I was getting a little bit worried about it, but it is all sorted now. Yeah, I'm going to run a few rows of this, and then we'll get some other jobs done. And you can see it's going to take courseplay nearly 3 hours to run this course, which is quite a lot of work, obviously. And this slight misalignment seems to go away once I get running. I think I might have had the plough rotated the wrong way compared to the other 2 tractors, because I'm running the same working width as the courseplay course, so it should work. And in fact it does when I get on the next row. So it all starts to line up. properly, which is, yeah, I did have it rotated the wrong way compared to the courseplay tractors, which is why it wasn't working. You can see over there, the one that's just going on the same direction. We now have our plows the same way, and it does make a difference, not to the actual working width, but to the alignment and stuff. So, yep, much easier. And you can see actually with the way courseplay does the three working together, they generally, in fact, they didn't ever get in each other's way. Even now, when I've got all three running on courseplay, it actually worked really well. This is a fair bit later because there's only an hour and a quarter left now, so they've done a fair bit of work, and we are loading up the dry barley because the price is good. It's actually better than the best price, which is how things work sometimes in farm sim, because prices have a bit of random variation on top of them. It's why the fixed crop prices mod doesn't give you exactly fixed prices, because each sell point can have a scale factor, which fixed crop prices doesn't override. And then there's also a bit of random variation, just so that every sell point doesn't have the same price, and that's why it can sometimes be a bit higher than the kind of best price that you might see in the graph or in something like time saving stock check, because you can sometimes get lucky with RNG, and it does happen in gaming, and we kind of have. So I'll get this sold. I think we're going to make a decent amount of money, actually. And this is kind of the start of making a decent amount of money in here. And actually, we're going to hit a pretty big chunk off of the loan that we have, which I was debating on the merits of, because the loan rate that we're currently being offered is higher than any of our loans. So it might not be sensible, but it might be. We'll see. We will see. And as we load up to sell this, I'm going to say thank you to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Appreciate you guys supporting the channel, and if you're interested in any of that, there are links below. I've just started a new, so the patrons that are in the £5 or above tier get their own Let's Play series, and I've just started a new series on the oaks on a custom built farm, so it's going to be fun with all old kit as well. So yeah, looking forward to getting stuck into that in the coming months, because it's always a long time for me, isn't it? Because I take things fairly slow and usually do a lot of episodes in a series. So. Right, so that was, what's that, £77,000 for the first load, which is pretty nice. And we had a little bit left, so let's get that sold as well. So that grain dryer does pay well. Buy Cartech, check it out. I know he is working on an update at the moment, so yeah, what's that, another 15, so 87, £92,000. You can see that there's a bit more to go for the dry wheat and the dry oats, and yeah, I want to sell about half of the maize silage. Yeah, it actually turned out I'd forgotten, and we had a bunch of unprocessed maize silage or fresh silage, so there was more than I thought there. I think there was another 400,000 litres, so pretty good. And so I've skipped ahead a day, and actually we're going to get a decent payout for the maize silage, so I'm going to start the process of selling it again. It's going to be a pretty time consuming job. I end up getting both lorries going on it in the end on courseplay, because there is a lot to shift even with 48,000 litres a load. So but you'll see we're getting, I think it was, yeah, like 16, 17 grand for a load, which is pretty nice considering how many loads that we have to unload. So yeah, I've sold a load of that. We are almost done with the ploughing contract. You see, just working around the headlands now, getting those tidied up. In time saving stock check, we've sold about 400,000 litres of silage. We've still got a fair bit left. You can see we've got 400,000 litres in there, and then another 500 there. So yeah, there's still a lot to go once it's all processed, and it might be that we end up, I think I sell a bit more, but it's probably going to be that we'll have more to sell in the future. Yeah, entirely possible that there will be a lot more to sell. So a bit more silage going. I think we've got a couple more loads that I end up selling in this kind of batch. So we've got both trucks running now using Simple Inspector in the corner. So they're both running on, I think, maybe I might be driving this one. No, they're both running on auto drive still. And we've got about 12 minutes left on the Courseplay course, but hopefully that should be finished fairly soon, because that's now been 1.5 game days to get that field ploughed. So yeah, it's going to be a big job once we own that field, working it. I mean, we've done the ploughing contract, which we've just finished, which paid really well. We did a harvest contract on here really early on. I think that's when I brought the second combine, with how big the field was. So yeah, this doing work on this field has earned us quite a bit of money, and you know, made me expand my equipment inventory. I was going to say library. Inventory sounds better. Yeah, so I need to get all of these tractors off of Courseplay now and headed back to the farm, because they need various amounts of repair and refueling to get them back kind of up to scratch. I need to install the Wear HUD indicator mod, which I used on the Bushel Plus videos, because the problem I'm having is the tractors that have front weights, the front weights are trashed, and that shows as the tractor being really heavily damaged, when actually it's just this, like this one, it's just the weight that's that damaged. I could repair the weights, I guess, but they'll end up damaged again, and it doesn't affect the fact that they have mass. So it seems like a bit of a waste of money to me, and to then constantly be repairing them. Yeah, I mean, I don't see what would need repairing on a weight like that. I'm sure someone who knows better can correct me, but yeah, for me, it shouldn't need repair really, and it's not going to get repair. So originally I was using enhanced vehicle on here instead of VCA, and that did have that information built in, but I swapped because I still find VCA much more intuitive to use when I'm playing. So yeah, just find it much easier. And it does actually have all of the same controls. It just don't have them mapped yet. So the reason that I like enhanced vehicle is the independent raise lower front implements, but VCA has that, so I just need to map the keys and set it up and stuff, or learn the mapped keys. So this, I believe, is the last of the maize silage I am selling today. So yeah, we're going to leave those last few litres. There's a bit more to ferment here. You can see we're up to 470,000 pounds from, I think we started on about 70, but then we brought the plough. So pretty good episode for earning money so far. And we still have, because I'm going to skip ahead to January, we still have cows to sell. So excuse me. Yeah, I'm going to be skipping ahead to 1st of Jan, and then we'll do the cycling of the beef cattle again, so we'll make a bit of money on that. But yeah, East Coast Bales has brought a lot of maize silage off, so I'm not actually sure how much we've sold here in the last day and a bit, but it's been a lot. It's been a lot. A lot more than I expected, because I'd forgotten we had a bunch of unfermented maize, because we just couldn't fit enough in those fermenters. So if we do any more big maize silage, I've got the clamps now up at the dairy farm actually, so I'll probably do a mixture of using the fermenters for stuff to sell and using the clamps up at the farm for the animals. Yeah, that probably makes sense. I think there's at least 2 big silage clamps up there. That will let us store a lot of feed, which would be good. So, because yeah, there's 130,000 litres left in that one to ferment. But we've made a lot of cash. So, 250,000 from selling crops, 60 odd thousand from contract income. I'm not sure what the plus MISC is. I think that might be a funny with the loan mod. I'm not sure. That does report its finances kind of strangely. It doesn't mean we're gaining money from the loan. I think it's just a bit of a funny there, maybe. But again, I keep hitting the microphone today. I am in full-on noob mode. So, with us having moved on a day, the prices for the dry wheat and the dry oats have gone up. So we're going to get those sold. Make a bit more cash. A bit more cash would be very nice. So yeah. I think we get about 70 grand. I think it shows about 70 grand for each of these, which is pretty good. I'd forgotten how good the grain dryer was. I was actually thinking that while I was out running today. That on here we've only planted a field of wheat, and it's the field that we had the fun with the weeds on. And she thanks for the comments on there. So I had a bunch of people say, yep, that's how it works. You once you let them grow, you need a hoe. Yeah, I'm a poet and I didn't know it. And that to use a weeder, you have to do it before the first stage growth. So in future, that's what we'll be doing. Because we've got that 24 meter weeder, that wheat field, I decided I would just use the See and Spray. I didn't think it was worth paying out. I think to buy, there's a hoe in the horse pack, but I think it's about £70,000. And for one field, I didn't think it was worth that. We can't lease on here, so I would have to buy it, and I don't think we're going to lose 70 grand's worth of crops by See and Spraying it. We could almost just not bother. Let's just let the weeds grow and maybe do better from it. There's a video for that. Right, let's get this tipped and then grab the dry oats. So I finally unpacked the wheel yesterday, set it all up, had a little bit of a play with it, realised that I need to spend a decent amount of time mapping all the controls because I have the wheel and the joystick. When you plug them both in, the wheel and the joystick both do steering by default. The throttle on the joystick did the up-down view, which meant that it was always looking down at the ground vertically. Yeah, it was all a bit of a mess. So I had a quick play. It's actually been put where I plan to store it for now, because in a bit I'm going to be playing with Cartech on Diddly Squat. And this picture looks kind of funny. Looks a little bit green to me. Yeah, so I probably need to spend a bit of time. I need to work out where I want to map controls to, and then I need to sit and do all the mapping and the setting up. And because I think I'm getting the shifter that goes with it for Christmas, a bit of me thinks I should just wait until I've got all three and then set it all up. I've got an idea how I'm going to set the shifter up though, so it might not be a problem. That might be. I might be able to set most of it up and actually have a play with it, but. It's Friday, Christmas is Monday. I don't know how much time I'm going to get to play between now and then, so we'll see. We will see. Yeah, I've got other stuff, grown-up stuff that I need to get done, sadly. So, and the other thing is, if I spend, like an hour setting that up, it's an hour I'm not doing this. So. And we've already missed one day, maybe more as we go through this week, the end of this week and into next week. There's probably going to be more, to be honest. So, yeah. Right, we're going to make a repayment on our big loan. So, I was kind of debating. I said that the loan interest rates are 3.5% and 3.8%. Currently, it's at 3.9%. But I figured, we shouldn't need to borrow money for a while. So, I'm going to pay 400 off. That leaves us a decent amount in the bank. We've still got 250,000 in the bank, and we've got less of a loan, so it seems sensible to me. And it's now January. It's snowing quite heavily. Interestingly, I have the same thing on here as I have on Glenlarthen, in that when it snows initially, the indoor areas are fine, and then after a little while, the snow layer seems to reset itself and go everywhere, which is kind of weird. Now, either that is a common mod issue, because I do run a lot of common mods, or it's a game issue. But you can see inside all the animal sheds and stuff, there is snow. There wasn't initially, but there is now. Okay, we've got the first load in, and basically, like before, we're going to make about 7 grand a load. So we've got 2 loads to sell, so we're going to make about 14 grand, and that's going to let us buy a third load at no cost, which is pretty nice. So 19,383 to sell and 12,600 to buy. So we make about £7,000. And that means we can buy an extra load and make a couple of £1,000, which seems pretty good to me. And for now, I'm going to just keep expanding how many we have. And, you know, probably sometimes we'll make a little bit, sometimes we'll lose a little bit, but it will get so that, you know, I'll get to a number where I don't want to increase it anymore. And we'll be making a decent amount every time. That's probably going to be, and, you know, like 3 or 4 loads with this trailer is probably as much as I want to do. When we get a bigger trailer, maybe 1 or 2. So we might get to like 60 cows. Which means we could be making like 50, 60 grand a month off of the beef cow, which would be pretty nice, you know? It would go a long way towards being able to buy the rest of the map, which is the challenge for here. So the next field I want to get is grass field of some sort, so we can be making our own grass silage and hay, because the only grass silage we have was from the contracts that we did. So yeah, I want to fix that. I want to sort that. And yeah, we will unload those. We're going to go grab 1 more load. And that'll be that. And at this point, I am going to say thank you for watching, guys. I hope you have enjoyed the video. If you did, click the like button. I'm losing my touch. Comments, questions, or suggestions below. And I will see you next time, whenever that is going to be. Got most of the Glenlarthen video recorded, but not sure when I will be getting that finished. So, yep. I will see you again soon. So my slight confusion here was because we've had one set of Angus's long enough that they've gained some health, which is why it's split. So that's that.